unison. So I think our topics are very focused. But the funny thing is when Gennady asked me to speak, I just picked a topic that I felt very, very emotional about. And, you know, we have an amazing room here today, and you should give yourselves an applause because this is an amazing conference put on by Prestige. But every one of you is powerful in your own right. And let's see if I can get this up and running. And I want to talk about today something that Fiona touched on, but more on a general basis of women helping women. So if you come out of this meeting, different women today, if you actually remember one thing that Angelina said today, please remember women helping and supporting women. And I'm going to stress this throughout my whole talk today. So why am I so emotive about this is because when I was a kid, I went to an all-girls school and I was really bullied. And it really shaped how I looked at life. And I swore that whatever I would do, I would not let somebody bully me. And I would always stand up for people who were bullied and help women. And I think actually in this ballroom, a long, long time ago, I spoke at a conference of finding your voice. And when you find your voice and you find what you feel emotive about, it's something that you want to pass that passion on to everyone else. And there are a lot of really powerful women in here today. All of you are really powerful women, and all of you can help the young and other girls and boys out there. So let's just talk about that right now. I'm going to cover women helping women. I'm going to debunk the queen bee syndrome. Unfortunately, this stereotype is true. That's why I want it debunked. And what can these behaviors be attributed to, and how are we going to deal with it, and end with some solutions of women helping women. So sorry, it sounds a little bit more of a financial services type of presentation. That's because I'm an ex-regulator, but I'm sorry. But if anything, you'll remember this PowerPoint. All right. So if you remember anything out of this conference today, the most important work that we can do in our lives is to make an impact. Every day, if you can make an impact, even if it's a small impact, to help someone, if it's helping a little old lady across the street, if it's mentoring, if it's teaching, as Christelle was saying, every bit counts. And as we make an impact, as we help others, we as women grow stronger as a group. And our impact is felt more and more. In Hong Kong, we're a small place, but boy, do we have spirit. And look at the spirit that we have now ever since COVID. We have come back and Hong Kong is hot. And people are coming back. So we need to keep that spirit up and running and help people. Because there's a lot of people that do need help out there. So we've talked about something called the queen bee syndrome. It's something that has bothered me, and this is sort of a harmful stereotype. And I hope none of you ever come across this, but I just wanted to keep people aware of this and get it out of the way. And it's a harmful gender stereotype that would have us think about that this causes gender equality or inequality in the workplace. And it's a key reason why there are so few women in senior leadership. Well, it's not, okay? It's not at all. What it is it's about women intentionally unsupportive to other women in the workplace. And it often happens when successful women exclude their female peers. And I really, really, really hope that you call out people if you see this, because women should be helping women. It's already tough enough as it is for ourselves in terms of moving up in the ranks, and it's nice to have the camaraderie and support of other women. So you don't want to treat women, junior women, more harshly than junior men. That's some of the things that we've seen. And you don't want to stay isolated as a queen bee in order to reach a pinnacle power. I mean, part of it is to work with women and hopefully bring everybody up at the same time. So that's how this whole queen bee syndrome came about. And that's why I'm sort of bringing it up right now as a topic that I hope we can fight against and just call it out. And hopefully the people that are queen bees will be aware of this and instead change their attitude and help others. Unfortunately, this is a stereotype that's sort of true. There have been a number of studies where women were actually surveyed. And they found in these studies, both at Harvard and in a landmark study where this was actually coined, this whole term, even though there were no gender differences, the more senior women felt that the students, as well as the female students, as well as other professors, were not committed or didn't seem to be as committed. Now, there wasn't any proof that they weren't committed, but that's what these faculty members felt because they just had this image. So this was actually replicated in other countries, and they had the same results, which is actually something quite scary to me, that women can actually feel that other women are not committed. And you know, you might have kids, you might have other ways, but people show their commitment in different ways. And that's one of the reasons why I'm calling this out. So this is a stereotype today, if you can all just be aware of it, and don't let that actually influence your views. Also in the academics, in a Harvard study, we also found that women are more competitive with other women than men. Hello? You know, guys help each other. If you go to the bar, you see guys going, hey, you know what, you want to get on that board or you want to get into the Hong Kong club, I'll get you in. So, why aren't we helping other women to get into the Hong Kong club? Honestly. So this is something, just be aware of this. And women should not judge other women more harshly as they judge men. And it looks like it's a competition for resources and wanting acceptance to actually criticize women in front of men. And it shouldn't be that way. It's basically women that are trying to prevent other women in getting into the space because they're worried about their own position. But you know what? Last I checked, there's a ton of positions out there. Board positions, for example. Fiona and I are sort of about to launch a big initiative to get more women on boards. Next year, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is going to have a new rule coming in place. Every listco has to have at least one woman on the board. That's how many thousands of positions? Every one of you don't need to fight for it because there's a ton of positions out there. And you know what? Non-for-profits need you. School boards need you. A lot of different positions need your expertise. So please don't fight over positions. Help each other. And don't prevent others from actually getting into these positions. So the queen bee reaction is basically, it's not a cause of gender inequality, but basically it's an issue having to do with structural and systemic inequalities. So if we get rid of those, hopefully we'll get rid of the queen bee syndrome. So if we can really change perceptions and if we can actually stop people from being worried that, oh, somebody's going to get my position, I think this is something that will really help the whole entire situation. So what can we do? What are things that, and how can we deal with it? Well, it's not an excuse. And if there are difficult managers who exhibit toxic behaviors, call them out. Say, hey, why don't you help women instead of just belittling women? And let's get rid of the queen bee. I hope this is the last time I ever have to mention this topic. And we actually covered this in a TWF Connect message. So I hope now that we've called it out, people are aware, and people are aware of their actions and actually work together. So let's not use this term anymore. But what we can do is, what is the solution? women helping and supporting women. So what should we be doing? We should be bucking the trend of society and not feeling jealous of each other. We should be happy that women are getting senior positions in different organizations. We should be supporting younger people in terms of to get positions in companies. We should be mentoring, and we should break the whole issue of jealousy and competition. You don't need to compete. There's a ton of positions out there. We should be celebrating women's successes. When was the last time you said, hey, you know what? Gosh, you did a great job the other day. People forget that in Hong Kong. And I think this is something I'd really like to call out, that, you know, if you see somebody that's done something well, just call them out and say, you know what, you did a great job today. And I hope whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to be even more successful. Instead of saying, oh, you know what, she was so show off, and you know what, she doesn't deserve that. No. If you want to be, how do you say it? If you want to actually be seen as somebody that, I'm actually at a loss of words because I've seen this before. Basically, if you can speak positively of other people will speak positively of you. And I think that's one of the reasons why, as a kid who grew up way taller and way too quick to be 6 feet tall when I was 16, and I was ridiculed, it was really, really tough for me. So I have made it a point to, wherever possible, to compliment people and to say, hey, you know what? You may have this, but you know what? You're 6 feet tall and you can actually see over everybody else. So looking at the good sides for people. So we should also be focusing on making sure that women are actually succeeding and feel good about themselves. We should focus on educating women, and this is something that TWF does really well, to support other women. And our mentorship program is one of them. Finding things to accomplish together. We should actually work together to see if we can collectively have training to get on boards, have whatever it happens to be, but find common goals together. And I think this is something that TWF does very well, because we bring people together and we have common goals to either promulgate Girls Go Tech, get more girls in tech, training, and so on and so forth. And on the guys' side, we also have male allies that work together to make gender-friendly policies in their company. So finally, listen actively as a way to support women and show that you're paying attention and give them feedback. And giving compliments, support, and help each other. One area that I find that women don't do enough with, and I'd like to sort of highlight this to you as you're here today and you're going to be in a cocktail party in a little while. For those of you who are shy, like me, and yes, I am shy, one of my ways of dealing with my shyness is I actually go up to people, find out their name, and then introduce them to other people, which forces me to talk to other people. So by introducing women to know other women, you yourself feel more comfortable, and you know what? It takes away the shyness. So I would really challenge all of you tonight as you sit in the cocktail that Prestige is going to put on in a little while, that you at least either introduce 5 people or meet 5 people tonight. And make it a point to get your cards and make it a point to do something out of your comfort zone to introduce and support women. So I'm going to give you that challenge. So I've talked a bit about the queen bees. We're going to debunk that. I've talked about challenging and giving you some ideas. I'm going to end with one last thing, and I've got a bunch of points here. If you want the PowerPoints, I'm very happy to send them to you. But I'd really like to say that together we can change the world. If we don't work together, we can't change the world for the next generation. So women need to support women. Women need to help women. Women need to be as a team. No more of this, I'm the most important. We need to work together. And I'd like to leave you with that thought. As you go to your cocktail party tonight, please make it a point to meet more women, meet more men, and talk and share and help each other throughout this process. So anyways, thank you.